Hello and welcome to another episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm your host for today's show. A very, very disappointing performance from Liverpool as the match concludes 3-2 to Toulouse. So our unbeaten record in the Europa League is no longer to Liverpool anymore. It no longer exists. Very, very disappointing in terms of performance. More frustrating thing was the last minute incident with the referee where we had scored an equaliser but it was disallowed. We'll talk about that in more detail. So let's do the match analysis. We'll also do player ratings today as well. This is a call-in show, so if you'd like to come on, hit the link in the description, and I'll try and get you on after the player ratings. So let's start with the lineup before the game took place. And to be honest with you, I predicted the more stronger lineup, so it was an interesting selection from Klopp. Ben Doak makes a return after injury. Luis Diaz and Gakpo lead the attack. We received some great news before the match that Luis Diaz's father has been rescued and is now safe, which I'm sure is a great relief for Diaz and his family. McAllister makes a surprise start in midfield and playing as a number 8. Joe Gomez is today's captain, so a special moment for him. In terms of Toulouse, same lineup that pretty much started against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. The only thing I would say, the channel that I was watching on presented a team in a 5-3-2 formation. It was more of a 4-4-2 formation during the game, which is probably why they were more on the attack-minded sort of play in terms of how it was in the previous game. So let's talk about key moments in the first half. So a very slow start to the game as neither team played with much tempo or intensity. Around the 3rd minute, Gomez almost opens his goal-scoring account as he flicks his head from Gakpo's free kick. Keeper was beaten, but the header hits the top of the crossbar, so unlucky for Gomez there. McAllister has a half volley, which was deflected over the bar. Matip has a chance from a corner kick, but his header also goes over the bar. Around the 25th minute, Diaz has a snapshot straight at the goalkeeper. 27th minute, Schmidt hits a fantastic low cross from the right-hand side. Suazo makes a sliding effort to shoot, but his shot just goes wide. 30th minute, Ben Doak has a volley after Resta spills the ball from across, but he saves the shot from the Liverpool youngster. And 35th minute, Liverpool concede the first goal. Tsimikas, sloppy in possession, gets tackled by Dunham, who drives with the ball, hits the left-footed shot, but it looked like it was going wide. It didn't look like that shot was on target. Unfortunately for Liverpool, it deflects off Kwanzaa and into the centre of the goal. Poor defending from Tsimikas, really disappointed with his performances in recent weeks. Overall, that first half was a poor account from Liverpool. We lacked urgency in our play and considered a very poor goal to give Toulouse the lead. Now, second half, Klopp makes some wholesale changes to the team, and rightly so. He brings on Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Szoboszlai for Ben Doak, Tsimikas, and Endo, who was on a yellow card, and in fact might have been sent off. So he was quite lucky to stay on the pitch. But in the second half, it was Toulouse who started the second half strong with their fullback Desla charging down our right-hand side and manages to find himself in the box, but Matip blocks him from any danger. 47th minute, Suazo has a great chance for Toulouse again, but his effort just goes wide. Liverpool need to wake up and smell the coffee. Delinga hits the back of the net at the 49th minute, but that goal is ruled out as Delinga pushes Matip before he scores. Great finish by the striker, to be honest. I actually think he was a bit unlucky not to get on the score sheet as it could have easily been given as a goal. 51st minute, Salah has his sort of first touch towards goal. His shot goes wide. Slight concerns as Salah collides with the goalkeeper, but he was fine and he was able to continue the game. 59th minute, Toulouse make it 2-0 and quite frankly, fully deserve it as they've been so positive in the second half. Delinga gets a fantastic shot, posting in, and to be fair, he was one of their stand-up performers tonight. 65th minute, Toulouse score again, but it's ruled out for offside. Very worrying in the manner of how Liverpool were being outplayed and split apart. 72nd minute, Toulouse gives Liverpool with a bizarre on goal as it hits the back of Caceres Jr. and into the net. At that stage, I'll be honest, it wasn't deserved. I think Toulouse were the better team. At that stage, you take what you get. 75th minute, Toulouse rightfully responded, and they got their third goal of the game as their sub Magri hits a low shot into the bottom corner. For me, Kelleher should have done a lot better with his save. Those type of shots, you normally parry them away out of play for corner. He pretty much pushed it back into the danger zone, and that is what happened. Went to the danger zone, and the striker got at the end of the ball and scored. 81st minute, Jota comes on for Diaz. 87th minute, Sabozda has a shot that was saved by Restes. 80th minute, the sub, Jota, gets on the score sheet. Similar run to his goal against Toulouse at Anfield, but this time, rather than running down the right-hand side, he went on the other side. Took the ball to his left side, finished it fantastically with his left foot. Good goal. And I guess at that point, something for the traveling fans to cheer about. Now, this is the point where definitely I felt outraged. 97th minute, Liverpool scored a perfect goal, in my opinion, with a last-minute equaliser. But bizarrely, it was ruled out for handball. The player was McAllister, who pretty much controlled the ball with his chest, and then it sort of rubbed off his bicep area, and then played continued. We did about 7-8 passes, and then the goal happened. So for me, an outrageous decision from the referee, who, in my opinion, just folded under pressure from the home crowd and from the Toulouse players as well. So overall, very, very disappointed with the performance by Liverpool. Very flat-footed, no urgency, no intensity whatsoever. But let's give credit to the opposition. Toulouse were fantastic today. But I can't lie, I'm a bit pissed off with what happened at the end. Poor refereeing ruins it again for Liverpool, and it's not the first time. Kwanzaa thought he scored his first goal for Liverpool, but it's wrongfully chalked off by an incompetent referee. But what can you do? I'm sick and tired of these referees ruining the game. VAR was supposed to be helpful and improve decision-making. Somehow it's made it more complicated than it should. But that's the modern day football, I guess. So it is what it is. What we'll do now is we'll do the player ratings. And then if there's anyone that wants to come on the show, feel free to hit that link. It is in the description. And I'll try and get you on as soon as possible. So what I'll do now is share the graphic for the Liverpool team, and then we can discuss player by player. So here is the lineup. We'll start with Kelleher. I thought it was pretty awful today. His overall game, he wasn't good. It wasn't good in my opinion. The goal that Magri scored should have done a lot better. The way he parried it away was a silly type of save. When you're a goalkeeper, you're normally taught to parry it away at certain angles. He pretty much just pushed it forward or in a forward motion on his left side and it ended up to the player. So I'll be honest with you, his last few performances give me a little bit of concern in terms of his quality as a goalkeeper. This is not like a knee-jerk reaction that, we should sell him or whatnot. But you have to question a player's performance. If he hasn't lived up to the bill, I have to point my finger and say how I feel. So I don't think Kelleher has been playing to his level. So things need to improve. And it's such a weird situation because you've got a player there who probably wanted to leave the club in the summer for more game time or first team football. And this season, he's been given more opportunities due to the fact that we're in the Europa League. So there isn't as much pressure in the group stages as it would be if you played in the Champions League. But he's performing at a very low rate, and it's very disappointing to see. So in terms of his performance today, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Speaking of players that aren't living up to the bill or performing when given a chance, Tsimikas definitely ticks that box as well. Another very, very frustrating performance from him, in my opinion. The first goal was completely down to him. Had the ball, fell asleep, God knows what he did. Gave the ball away sloppily. It was just a manner in terms of him chasing back as well. Didn't really try to rectify the error. And he was, I don't know, very lethargic throughout the whole game. doesn't seem to have that same drive and energy that he normally does when he's playing probably under less pressure because he's not first choice at the minute. So I'm not going to lie, when I did the analysis of the squad, I always thought he was a good backup player for Robertson, and because he's out for a few months now, I have to be honest, it's a concern going forward when you've got the likes of Man City and Arsenal in the Premier League and Tottenham are in good form right now as well. A lot of teams aren't really dropping points, and we've got a player there who, when we play, a lot of people target Trent because they think defensively he's poor. But this season, I think he's been actually quite solid from a defensive point of view. Tsimikas is the one where I feel like we are definitely going to get targeted, not just in the Premier League, in all competitions. So, yeah, he definitely needs to roll up his socks and show more quality because he is a good player. I'm not going to just dismiss him and say he's a terrible player. He is a good player. We've seen it in the past, but he's just not living up to it right now. So, in terms of his performance today as well, I'll give him a 5, and I think I'm being generous there. Kwanzaa, for me, had an okay game. It wasn't his better games. Obviously, the last game that he played, he was phenomenal. In terms of his all-round play, I think, yes, you can see in terms of his maturity on the ball and stuff, but the early goals, especially the first couple of goals, I feel like he wasn't tight on his man. I think positionally, he just didn't know where he was as well. So he looked a bit lost. And that happened quite often throughout the game. So I'm not going to be too harsh on the player because he's a young boy. He's just come into first team football and he's definitely learning his trade. But yeah, it wasn't his better performance today. So today, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Matip, for me, wasn't hugely better, to be fair. I'll probably say it was on the same wavelength. I think Matip was probably better in the first half, and I think Kwanzaa improved in the second half. That goal that Delinga scored that was ruled out because of that foul, that could have easily been given. Matip was just not strong in that duel there. It was pretty much shoulder to shoulder. I don't think it was a blatant foul in that manner. So very lucky that we didn't concede another goal because at that time they were in full flow. They had 2 goals disallowed today, guys. So it wasn't by luck that they got that scoreline. They definitely played the game of their life, and that is what it is in that regard. So Matip for me gets a 6 out of 10 today. Joe Gomez, I actually thought he did a decent job today. Looked solid at right back. Defensively wasn't troubled at all. In terms of when he was going forward as well, looked a lot more natural playing on that right hand side. Obviously, he's right-footed, and when he's on the left, playing as left back, he just doesn't seem to know when to make that run forward. Over there, he looks really good. There was a couple occasions where he covered. I remember he made that one block where a player was through on goal, and he came across into the central area and blocked that shot, showing his burst of speed as well, which is great to see. So for me, I just feel like looking at Joe Gomez's game nowadays, I feel like he's more suited for that right back role. Can still do a job at centre back, in my opinion. Just don't want to see him at left back. But unfortunately, we don't have much say because of the injuries that we have in terms of Robertson and the poor form of Tsimikas right now as well. So it might be an option going forward. But in today's game, I think he was one of the better players on the pitch. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 today. In terms of Endo's all right. In terms of, I think he was good on the ball today. But I feel like the tackle that he gave away, it wasn't a harsh tackle. I've seen a lot worse. Like, yes, he stepped on his ankle, but I think it was accidental more than anything else. And then he had a tackle before that as well. So either could have been booked twice and have been sent off. But in terms of his performance, I don't think he was bad as a lot of other players were. I think a lot of players were below par today. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 today. McAllister, for me, was decent today. It looked more natural, which you can obviously imagine. Playing as a number 8, feel like the shackles were off, like he was free to kind of express himself. He was running with the ball. dribbling, making some good passes. Had a good triangle amongst Diaz and Simicast on that left-hand side. So he's trying to make things happen. But obviously in the second half, probably deployed in a more deeper role or had to track back a bit more due to Toulouse's counter-attacking threat. So I think his game sort of fizzled out towards the latter end of the game. But I feel like he had a good game today. Probably shows why we need a number 6, because it allows a player like McAllister to really play his natural game, and having a destroyer probably actually elevate his game even further. So, but that's another conversation for another day. In terms of today's performance, I'm going to give him a 6.5. Elliott, for me, was probably one of the positive lights of this team today. I mentioned Gomez was solid at right back. I think Elliott as well, he tried to make things happen like he always does. He's one of those players that really wants to make things happen. In terms of on the ball, wasn't on the ball as much as I'm normally used to seeing him play, especially in previous games. But he was definitely trying to do some good passes, took a few cracks from long distance, and was using his energy very well throughout the game. So no, I think it was a good performance from him. It's just a shame that players around him weren't really matching that energy. So today, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 as well. Luis Diaz had a good first half, I would say. There were a couple of moments where I felt like he showed his natural flair and skill, where he was trying to take on that fullback. And there's a couple of times where I think he took on 2-3 players, twist him around a bit. And that's what I want to see from Diaz more often. I don't want Diaz to become a system player. I want him to be that live wire in our team that makes things happen and excites us as fans. You know, we have to be on the edge of our seats whenever we watch Diaz. And don't want to do comparisons, but kind of like how Doku's playing for Man City right now, where the traditional Pep player is normally a system player, but he's doing his thing right now, really expressing himself as a attacking threat, as a winger, as a player with natural flair. So that's what I want to see from Diaz more often going forward. The only thing with Diaz is I feel like he fizzles out in the second half. That may be due down to, you know, he's not played regular games, obviously due to his family situation. So fitness might not be at the top end in terms of his game. But today I thought he was decent. So I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Ben Doak, for me, was pretty quiet today. Yeah, he had a couple of moments where there was one move I remember where he controlled the ball really well. I think Gomez gave him a long pass and then controlled it, took the player out, and then squared it to Elliott. And then I think Elliott tried to shoot, and then he got blocked by the defender. But other than that, he didn't really attack much on that right-hand side. But you have to look at his age in terms of he's still a youth player. He's not really a first-team player. So what he's doing right now for his age is pretty great right now, to be fair. And it's showing that he still has that raw ability. And I feel like with more games, we'll see better end product from him going forward. So today, I'm just going to give him a modest 6 out of 10. And in terms of Gakpo, I think Gakpo didn't have a huge impact on the game. But in terms of, you know, controlling the ball, laying off passes, his set pieces were quite decent today as well. Obviously, didn't lead to too many goals, but there's been so many times where we've seen people take set pieces and it's gone above the bar and it's just gone to waste. But I think he tried to be very efficient on the ball, which is what you want. There's a couple of times where he dropped deep and tried to drive the ball forward. So it was a good account of himself. Still feel like he's finding that rhythm. He hasn't quite got that full flow right now, but I think it will come in due time. So today I'm going to give him a 7. Might be a little bit high, but I feel like he was on the better half. I think Elliott, Gakpo, and Gomez in terms of starting lineup were the better players. The rest were below average, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in terms of my ranking. Am I being harsh? Am I being too nice? Drop a comment. Let me know. Just going to check the comment here. Sideline Football Show says, big up Ozzie, big up to yourself, Emma. Thank you for your comment. We've got K-Mac channel here. Thank you, K-Mac, for your comment. Once again, players think they are too good to be playing against unknown teams. That's the frustrating part as well, to be fair. I don't know what it is, to be fair. The way the team started the game, I can't even say it's like training ground football. It was just, yeah, we'll walk through this team. Just because we beat them 5-1 at Anfield, it's not going to happen again. Like, you could tell before the players even stepped on the pitch, that the crowd were really up for it. I think they were really excited to see Liverpool in action, and they tried to make that atmosphere as hostile as they could, and it worked to their advantage. I think it probably helped influence that referee's decision towards the end as well. So no, I think, yeah, it's disappointing. It's a mentality thing. But the thing is, a lot of these players that started today, they are players that might not play week in, week out, but they are still actively involved in the squad, because this year we have been rotating the squad a lot more. So, yeah, it's very disappointing. That's something that needs to be rectified going forward. One thing we've improved as a team is that our game management has improved a lot more than it was last season. But there's just certain cracks in our armor where against the lesser teams, we don't show that urgency and intensity. Like a lot of the big teams, they try to blow these teams away in the first half. This wasn't the case for Liverpool, and it hasn't been the case. It happened over the weekend where we played Luton, and even against Luton, I think we were just expected to walk over them with ease. I didn't really show that effort like we should do when you play a decent level of opposition. So, no, it's very, very frustrating to see. And look, just because they're unknown to us doesn't mean, because they'll probably look at us and say, oh, they're 14th in the league. I did a preview yesterday. They haven't won for quite a few weeks. They lost their 2 games in a row before this game as well. But you know how football is. You got to turn up and play against the opposition that you have, because today it was like a final for them. Like the way the crowd were waving their flags around, the way they were really up for it, it was a final for them. So we should have done a lot better. Disappointing. We could have easily got the point. I'll be honest with you, even if that goal had stood, my point of view will still remain. I just think it was a very frustrating performance, and certain players are really letting us down. But yeah, it is what it is with that regards. You said 5 for Gakpo. Do you know what? I'm not even mad at it. I probably have ranked him a bit higher, to be fair. Let me drop it down a little bit. I won't say 5. I think I'll give him a 6. It's just that I think a lot of them weren't great today. So for me, he stood out a bit more just because I feel like he was a bit more efficient on the ball. But in terms of impact, no, he didn't have much impact. So I'll rectify that one. But no, disappointing from the Liverpool team. I'll add the subs as well. So we made 5 subs today. So who came on? So Salah came on for Ben Doak. So we put on Salah there. Who else? We had Trent come off for Simicast. I'll swap these players around once I've got them all on the pitch. Szoboszlai came off for Endo. Szoboszlai. And then we've got Darwin Núñez for Gakpo, isn't it? Yeah, Gakpo, Núñez, and then Jota for Diaz. So who do I need to swap around? So these 2 can be swapped around. So McAllister dropping as a number 10 in the second half. And then Gomez going to that hand side. Okay, so we'll start with Trent. Didn't really have much impact on the game, to be brutally honest. I think he was more involved in terms of set pieces, tried to make things happen. But yeah, I don't think none of the subs really made that kind of impact apart from Jota. So with Trent, I'll probably just have to give him an average ranking. I don't think he did anything great, but he didn't do anything bad for me to really pinpoint anything. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10 there. So Bosley wasn't a good cameo, if I'm being brutally honest. Gave the ball away quite a few times. Even that moment when the goal got disallowed and we had the ball, he seemed to just do a couple of kick-ups and then just gave the ball away. And I was just like, come on, that's just... Even if we're not going to get that goal, you're not really giving us a chance. Like, you've given up already. So that was a bit frustrating to see from his part. But before that, he was very... wasn't very efficient on the ball. Gave the ball away quite a few times. And wasn't impactful in my opinion. So obviously he didn't play for a long time. So he came on second half. He had the whole second half, but he didn't have much of an impact. So I'll give him a 6 as an average score. Salah, same thing. He was pretty much quiet, wasn't he? Didn't really have much. He had that chance where he collided with the goalkeeper. But after that, what did he do? Sorry, 6.5 from McAllister. Yeah, I have to give him a 6 as well. I don't think he did anything that is worthy of him. Why have I still got Jota? So let me put on Jota back. Sorry. There you go, Jota. Nunez, for me, I'll be honest, I almost forgot he was on the pitch until I think just before the goal had happened, because he got into a tussle with... I think that's when he got booked, actually, when he got into a tussle with Magri on his left-hand side. So yeah, the only post I would say, like, he was trying to make things happen for the team, trying to attain free kicks, which aided in terms of presenting some sort of attacks, but didn't really have much impact. So I'm going to give him an average score of 6 as well. And then Jota came on, was more of the positive impact player that we wanted, scored a fantastic goal with his left foot. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. In terms of man of the match, I'll have to give it to Joe Gomez. I think he was the only one that really showed a bit of consistency in his performance. The rest of the guys, I think, were below par. Elliott was close as well. I think he had a decent game. But everyone else, yeah, it just wasn't their day today. So I'll give Joe Gomez, who was captain as well. So a nice way to round off his game today. Just got a comment here from Uncle Roz. Any room for bro? If you're watching right now, feel free to jump in. The link is in the description, so you're happy to have anyone on. Otherwise, we'll probably close the show very soon. But we can, of course, chop it up next time on next fixture, which is Liverpool and Brentford. So I'll be doing a match reaction for that as well. K-Mac said Trent can jog on for me now. Another comment: Salah needs the ball in games. He can't create anything with passes at his head height. Yeah, that was a bit frustrating to say the least, in terms of him going for aerial challenges. It's not his game, clearly. So even that ball where he climbed the keeper, I feel like normally Salah's a lot better with his first touch there, and it would have been where he brought it down and then tried to execute it. But I think because the ball came more towards his right foot, he wasn't able to angle it as well as he wanted to, and plus he had pressure from the defender and the goalkeeper. Wasn't a clear chance. I'll say it's a half chance, to be honest with you. So yeah, we're not that sort of team. We're not a long ball team. We shouldn't be hitting big crosses unless Nunez there, but that doesn't always work for us. Another comment from K-Mac: Gomez even did a few good crosses. Yeah, I'll be honest, I think that's one of his games he's really improved since the second half of last season. Really, really has a good whip of a cross, to be honest with you. Has a good accuracy of this. Probably not as eye-catching as a Trent pass would be, for example, but generally it's good quality, and he tries to make things happen as well. So no, I thought he stood up for me. I think a lot of the players were below average, so it is what it is with that. That's a wrap up for today. I can see we have a guest, so I'll bring him on the show right now. And we've got Roz. How's it going, sir? How you doing?
I'm very well. How's yourself? Well, put it this way, I've had this flu. I've had this flu and it's just knocked me for six, man. There's a bag of shows I was supposed to do, but I couldn't even do them. But I think I'll make a return tomorrow at the day with the match reaction plus prayer ratings. I'll do that tomorrow because I'm still under it, man. It just beat me up, you know what I mean? But watching the game today, you know what I mean? We didn't play well. Put it this way, there wasn't one player that played shite. You know what I mean? I think at the day, so like nobody had a good game apart from, as you said, like Jota. Do you know what I mean? So when people start singling out sort of players like Trent and they start singling out Tchimikasa and blah blah blah, what they got to look at the bigger picture. None of the team played well. Do you know what I mean tonight?
Yeah.
And I've always said this. Yeah, I've said this from the Luton game, and I've said this from many games before. What it is, when we're in possession today, right, we're too slow in the passing, yeah? So what happens is that, right, the opposition get time to get back into shape. Do you know what I mean, yeah? So when you do find that, sort of like that passionate player, for instance, where you're going to attack, it's too late, the doors are shut. Do you understand what I'm saying? You got man behind the ball. But if it's quicker, do you know what I mean, yeah? You catch them by surprise, quicker. Bit more like wide play. Do you know what I mean? You know, you lofted that ball over to Diaz, you lofted that ball over to Ben Doak, and then obviously when Mo Salah come on, you know what I mean, you lofted it over to him. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit kind of like, you know, excuse me, it's a bit kind of like predictable of what you was going to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the game was a bit too narrow, so you then became easy to defend against. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Saying all that, right, we managed to sort of like score 2 goals, yeah? And Jota's goal was a brilliant goal. It was a brilliant goal, yeah? You know Jota, man. That's, you know how he goes, right? Yeah. But what I can't understand at the day, right, is that Gerald Cransard's goal, yeah, should not have been disallowed.
Agree.
It should not have been disallowed. So then you get to a situation, Oz, it's like, who's actually refereeing the game? Is it a referee or is it a VAR? Who's running the game? Because you see what the referee done. Referee pointed to the spot.
Yes.
Yeah. He pointed to the spot and said, "Yeah, man, it's a goal," and everything that, right? But then he got called back, to sort of like, to look at the screen. You understand me? Yeah. Then he said that ball. Now, I'm under the impression today, right, is that one, the VAR is only there to help sort of like the referee, yeah, when he needs it, yeah. And obviously that wasn't the time that he needed it because he already made the decision. And number 2, at the end of the day, right, the referee's decision is the final decision. If that's not the case, well then we should have been given that goal that was ruled offside by VAR, but the referee at the end of the day said it wasn't offside. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand the hypocrisy of it? So what you've got, and then you've got to a stage at the day with the game at the day, right, is where we thought at the day, well, look, we knew at the day the Premier League sort of like VR system at the day was crap, yeah, we knew that, right, and we always was ranting and raving about like the European, so it's much more better. Now we got to a stage where they're both the same now. Because the same decisions that you get in the Premier League, you're now getting them in the sort of like in Europe. Yeah. So then at the day, the game of football, to me at the end of the day, is heading to a crisis, because what's actually happening now is the referees at the end of the day are no longer controlling the game. It's VAR. And the people that operate the VAR haven't played football before, know nothing about football. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just know how to sort of like, do this camera business and stuff. Yeah. So what you'll find out in the day, right? This won't be the only decision at the day given against Liverpool or any other club. To be fact, comes a fact. Because look what happened with Arsenal the weekend. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When the ball was clearly out. Do you know what I mean? And VAR, they had VAR on that. And VAR showed, and it was clearly out. But still, at the day, the goal was allowed. They checked for 4 different things in the day when they only have to check for 1. You understand what I'm saying? So I would have been kind of like much more. I'd have felt kind of much more better at the day to say, well, look, right now, you know what? At the day, we didn't play well, yeah. But I know, we're not going to hide it. We didn't play well, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we got a point out of it, I would have said, yeah, that's fair enough, because probably we deserved a point because we didn't play well. Like the Luton game, and I think that we didn't play well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the main thing about the Luton game is that I was there at the Luton game, and the main thing about that was the fact, again, slow passing. So how Luton set up? They set up as a set up 3-4, 3-4-2-1, yeah. So what they did, and they two of the midfielders that they were wing backs, yeah, right. So what they actually did, and I think that right when there was out of possession, right, the two wing backs dropped back, so you had 5 at the back, yeah. And Anders Townsend and his other forward partner, yeah, what they did, they dropped back into midfield, yeah. So what you then had is a 5-4-1, making them that much harder to sort of like break down. And it was never going to break them down to that. And then with their slow passing, it has to be quicker. If you're going to do that passing game in the night, right, and try and open up sort of like the defense and the opposition and that, yeah. If you're going to do that, well, it has to be faster. There's no other way you can do it other than it being faster, fast and precise. You know what I mean? Out to the wing, into the centre, out to the left wing, into the centre. It's got to be faster. It's not like dilly-dally the ball, like left, right, backwards, forwards. Then when sort of like you get pressed by a player, you're knocking it back into midfield. And then when that midfielder gets pressed by a player, you're knocking it back to goalkeeper. He lofts it over the top, and then somebody heads it out. Do you know what I mean? You can't do that, because what's happening today is like when there was in that slow possession today, it allowed Toulouse to press them. Do you know what I mean? And when you press somebody, that's when you start making mistakes. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like to Shimikas today, guaranteed that he gets rid of that ball fast, like he did, like he should. Yeah. He won't get caught in that position at the day where he's losing the ball. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I do think at the day, so yes, at the day we didn't play well, but I do think we still got robbed, and I'll stand by that. We still got robbed tonight. Do you know what I mean? Because that goal was a goal.
Yeah, that's the funny feeling about today, because you're right. We weren't great. We were very disappointed today, but it's just that last minute where the goal that was ruled out should have stood, and for that's just left a sour taste in our mouths, I guess, where we probably didn't deserve a point. Let's be honest, we were really bad today. But rules are rules, where we should have been awarded with that goal. I think the referee, I think the pressure from the players, from the crowd as well, definitely influenced his decision, because there's no way a referee points, like I said, he pointed to the spot and then got something from the air and then just went back. And I feel like the crowd just kind of went over his head, and it's just like influenced his decision to just rule it out. So very, very frustrating in terms of how that happened. We've got a couple of comments here. So we've got K-Mac, who I will get on the show very shortly as well. VAR can't call back a handball that happened many phases of play later. That's another fact. That's something I mentioned earlier on today as well.
Exactly.
Before that handball happened, there was like 8-7 passes before.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying, also. Yeah. This is what sort of like really annoyed me. After that supposed handball, there was about 7 or 8 passages of play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before he actually scored and everything that. So if it was a handball and you were so convinced at the end of the day it was a handball, why the hell did you not blow up then?
Yeah. K-Max just confirmed 12 passing also from their team. It paints a picture right there. We were clearly, that was like, it happened like such a long time ago. Like, I probably forgot about it in terms of what happened, because it didn't really influence the goal as such. So for me, it was just a ridiculous outcome in terms of what happened there. We'll get K-Mac on the show now as well. K-Mac, thank you for coming on. How are you doing today? Seem lost for words. Are you on mute?
Yeah, you got mute, blood.
Yeah, I thought you lost for words there. How you doing?
I am lost for words. How? I mean, has someone got like a voodoo doll of like Liverpool, and they're just like doing that, like every time there's a decision? Because I have never seen so many decisions that have just been so badly managed against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like, it's just phenomenal. Like, you know what? I probably need to talk about a couple of other things. Okay, so Keller, he's not good enough. He's not good enough for me. I'm sorry.
I said that earlier on.
Sorry, a guy who's only played, I think he's played eight professional games, like major games for Liverpool. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's maybe played 25 games in total for Liverpool in his entire career. Like, why are we playing him for such an important game? Like, this game puts us top and we go through.
Yeah.
But we play Mo Salah and we play Dominic Szoboszlai. You know, we play them against a cup team. You know, we play our big players against the cup team, but we don't play our big players against the team away, which we win. Then we've got 2 easy games where we can play the kids. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Just get it done and dusted. Like, don't make 10 changes. Like, it doesn't make sense that you play your strong team at home for the cup game, and then in the Luton game you had to then play lesser players, and you also play players that were knackered, and now you've got 2 injuries in your midfield because you were arsing around with your team when you should have just played the reserves against the cup team, because you could have got through against them because they played their reserves, and then you play your strong team against Luton, and then you play your strong team against Toulouse away. Like, Toulouse away is a tough game. Like, it's a tough game. Like, they have to win.
The thing is about it, and I think that he did say from the get go he was gonna make changes in this competition. So I don't really think with I've got any problems with him doing that. Do you know what I mean? Because you said that with the scheduling at the day of the games and games coming up that will be coming up, he was going to make changes.
We've got an international.
Yeah. No, but what I'm trying to say, the schedule of games coming up, and then right, you got this game at the day against Toulouse and everything night, right? Tonight, and then on Sunday and day you got Brentford as well on Sunday, and we all know at the day, so that the Europa Cup in the even way back at the day when it was UEFA Cup, we all know it, and that takes a lot out of you. So he said from early out in the day, right, that in this competition at the day that he's going to make a lot of make some changes at the day, and some of these kids at the day, right, are going to get these chances. So when he played black players,
right? So you play them in the cup then at home. You play your Dokes. You play your Dokes in a cup at home. You don't play him with 10 different players who are all.
Yeah, but he said he's going to do that anyway.
All haven't played with each other. Like, that's the biggest problem we've got right now. Like,
no, it's not, because he said
his rotation has now gone from a couple of players to just all of them, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Well, what I'm trying to say is not really an day, because it shouldn't really be a surprise if he said he was going to do that anyway. He said he was going to make changes at the day. People might be surprised of how much changes he's made, but people already knew it, and that he was going to make changes in these cup games, and he said it for a long time. And he's going to play a lot of the kids at the day, so you could be surprised that he made.
Who did he play at home against Toulouse? Who did he play at home against Toulouse up front?
He played Jota, Nunes, and Elliott.
Yeah.
Who did he play in?
Yeah.
Who did he play in defence?
It was Chambers,
Gomez, and
I think Trent. But Trent, I think, just came back from injury, so I think we're trying to embed him.
Trying to get him back in.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have played that game either. So, in terms of the lineup today, I'll be brutally honest. I think it was a strong enough lineup to beat this team today.
Yeah,
but it's just that we've been. I think from the weekend onwards, we've been below par, and it's rubbed off on us. I think throughout the squad, where Kelleher, for me, you mentioned K-Mac. I'm not going to lie. I'm seeing cracks in his game where I'm thinking maybe he's not good enough as the way
I think Ali saves one of them. Oh,
100%.
I think Ali puts the fear in strikers as well. Like, they're different. They act different.
Yeah. I think he doesn't have that presence.
A lot of Keller's goals, it's just one shot. Like
One shot,
a lot of the goals that go against Keller now, he's that type of goalkeeper that we've had in the past where you just have to get it on target and it's in. Like it is literally a shot on goal and it's a goal. Like it's really, really not good right now. The numbers against Keller, the number against Keller are for me saying, oh, we missed out on 20 million there. But then again, no one wants to buy him.
No,
that's
why.
Yeah, but I think in terms of a backup goalkeeper, he's. I feel like with backup goalkeepers, there has to be certain qualities that you have in your squad. And I feel like he's not a bad goalkeeper. It's just that I'm seeing some cracks in his game recently where I feel like he has been easily beaten, like you've mentioned as well. But I feel like one thing that I've noticed is his kicking ability as well, where he's too casual on the ball now. Before, he would literally ping the ball first time when he gets the ball. Now he's like trying to be like Alisson, where he's trying to be a bit more relaxed, calm, but you don't have that capability of doing what Alisson does because that's his type of way of playing. So no, in terms of sorry.
I also feel a bit sorry for him because Alisson doesn't really play with many different defenders. He's normally got quite a solid team in front of him all the time because we play him for all the big games.
Yeah,
Keller gets he gets Costas one side, Gomez on the other. Then he's got a mishmash of central defenders all the time. Like,
but it's normally
you haven't really got a settled team in front of you if you're the sub goalie.
Yeah, but you're
getting played with the kids.
Yeah, but he's not expected to play with the likes of Van Dijk and Konate week in out. So I feel like with the Europa League, I think the back fours, I don't know, you guys can disagree. I think it's been quite consistent where it's been Tsimikas, it's been Gomez, it's been Kwanzaa, or it's been Matip / Konate, depending on who's been available or who hasn't played during the weekend. So we've kind of rotated, like Uncle Roz mentioned as well. So today, for me, it's just a frustrating one. I think Tsimikas, he's one player that's really disappointed me in the last few weeks. You know, we've got Robertson out for, I think, good couple of months now. He won't be back until after the New Year. So we've got a lot of games. Yeah,
he's had such a big chance. And he's done nothing.
And he's not a kid as well. He's like a mid-20s player, international as well. But he's just, like, the first game he played, I think he started after Robertson's injury, was the Merseyside derby. And he just looked like he's never played a game of football before. He was under so much pressure. He literally stunk. Like,
he got the lowest score on Sofa Score.
I think with the Tsimikas, to be fair, with Tsimikas, this is the problem. As with Kelleher and certain other players that look rusty, it's because these players they do not get a run of games. They don't get a run of games, and they're in and out of the squad. Even to Tsimikas it's in and out of the squad. Even the Luton game, and I think that way probably should have got played in the Luton game, being sort of like the other proper left back, right? Should have played in it, and he never played. But then when he came on and everything, like, he actually made a change to the game. Do you know what I mean? He actually made a change to the game.
Yeah, and for the worst.
No, he didn't play for the worst. No, he never.
Oh my God, did you see him on the goal?
I saw the game. Brother, I was there.
He didn't even approach the player.
I was at the match. Listen, I was at the match, and the person on the day that I saw move out the way in the day was Konate. Konate went like that and let the guy run past him. Literally went like that.
Elliot should have took him out.
And the thing is about nobody talks about the fact that Konate at the day let the guy run past him. Didn't make a challenge. Didn't say, look, you know what? Let me just take one for the team. You know what I mean? Take a yellow card. Take one for the team. Most important thing in the day, I'm not going to make this guy run through and to either A, score himself or lay off to somebody to score. He let the guy just run through. So when Tsimikas came on,
do you mean the guy that crossed it?
There was a guy that was running. There's a guy running through for the goal. And if you see it, and then
they crossed it on the right hand side.
Yeah,
it was on the right hand side where Konate was.
Yeah,
I mean the guy that scored. The guy that scored that was coming down, Tsimikas could have approached him, but he didn't. He just let him run.
Yeah, but Konate could have approached him. Yeah, but Konate could have approached him as well. Konate could have approached his player as well. So really and truly, to put all in to Tsimikas front door and for that, I find it a bit unfair. And I think with Tsimikas, what I've noticed with him and then when he gets a run of games and stuff, right, he does tend to sort of like, you know, get better. But we got to realize that he doesn't get a lot of games in the squad. Do you know what I mean? This is like the only time that he's gonna get at the end of the day to prove himself till now, until sort of like New Year, right? Then obviously at the day with Robertson's fit again in the day, right? Whether the fact that the Tsimikas is playing good or bad, yeah, Tsimikas still comes out the squad. Do you understand what I'm getting at? So you know what I mean? He's in a no-win situation. I play good and play well and everything that, right? I still come out the squad. I play bad yeah, I will still come out the squad because all it is at the day, he's just a backup for Robertson till Robertson is fit again. I guarantee that if Robertson and Dave was fit and it was fit in that, right, the Tsimikas would not be playing. He would not be playing. He probably wouldn't get anywhere near that squad. If he does it, then he'll probably like 5 or 10 minutes here and there. So it's just, you have to sort of like give him you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. But you know, if people think that,
look
that's their opinion.
Look what Trent did. Look what Robbo did. Because that's what they did. They had a chance and they took it and they became first team players.
Yeah, but how many times did Trent come out the squad?
Exactly the same chance because
how many times has Trent come out the squad?
You don't know what's going to happen with Robbo. You genuinely don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but how many times has Trent come out the squad?
So well for like the next 3 months, Robbo might never get back into the team if he plays as well as Robbo does. But he's been
he'll get back into the squad. He'll get back into
really bad. Like
he's not back into the squad
anymore. He's not getting forward that much. He's doing dumb stuff like tackles and giving the ball away and fouling players in daft positions. He's really he's not giving himself any chance to talk to me.
You know what? Your analysis of Tsimikas at the day, to me, at the day, right? And I'll just say this at the day, it's harsh. It's harsh, K-Mac. And as with a lot of your analysis on players at the day in the Liverpool squad, it is harsh. I do find it harsh at the day, right?
I criticize
hold on. What it is at the day, right? With people like Tsimikas at the day, right? He knows for a fact at the day is if when Robertson gets fit, he comes out the squad, whether he's playing good or playing bad, yeah. And look at Trent at the day since Trent came into the squad, yeah, right. Trent, whether he plays good or whether he plays bad and everything that, right? How many times at the day has Trent been dropped for that team? None. Trent has never been dropped for a team. It's a bit like Henderson, and when Henderson was playing with the club, yeah. When he was playing, whether he played good and whether he played bad in the day, right, he was never getting dropped for that squad, and we always say that. So Tsimikas at the day, whether he plays good, whether he plays bad in the day, right, he's gonna get dropped at the day when Robertson comes in. Do you know what I mean? And to me, at the end of the day, right, he hasn't been that bad. You know what I mean? Tonight and everything. Tonight, to put this way, tonight and everything. The only person I can pick as a man of the match tonight, if I was to pick up man of the match, right, was Gerald Kwanzaa. That's the only person I could pick as man of the match. All the rest of them, they had shit games. Do you know what I mean? Nobody at the day tonight and then day, right? Nobody from tonight, nobody from the Luton game can cover themselves in glory to say, well, yeah, you know what, they played really good. Nobody can. So it's not just a Tsimikas problem; it's a whole team problem. Because as I said before, anything that, right, once you're not moving that ball fast enough, right, the opposition get time to hold their shape in the day, and it doubly become hard to break down. Then you start doing dumb things at the day, like lofting the ball over in spaces at the day that are not available, just to move the ball up midfield. Do you know what I mean? You get pressed at the day high at field and stuff because you're holding onto the ball too long. Do you know what I mean? They do not move the ball fast enough for my liking. That includes the Tsimikas, Matip, Van Dijk, the whole load of them do not move the ball fast enough. And in order to break down a team when you're passing, in a passing motion at the day, right? In order to do that, you have to move that ball 90 miles an hour. If you do not move that ball 90 miles an hour, that right, you're just gonna be stuck in midfield with that ball and getting pressed, and you're gonna make dumbass mistakes. It's not only he makes dumbass mistakes, you know. McAllister's made some dumbass mistakes. So Bosley's done it, and Bosley's done it. The whole load of them's done it. Diaz at the day has problems at the day beating a man. He'll be in a game at the day. He'll probably beat his man at the day twice in a whole game. Most of the time, right, the ball's getting taken off of him because he tries his skill in it and it's not working. So it's not just just give us problem, and what I'm trying to sort of like get through it, right? It's a team problem. They're not moving the ball fast enough, and there's no intensity like there was before. None of it. It's all gone. It's all gone. You know what I mean?
Just needs to read his book, doesn't he?
It's true though. It's true though. You know it's true.
He needs to read his own book.
No, it's true though. You know it's true, and I think that's why you're saying that, because you know it's true.
Mate,
they ain't moving the ball fast enough.
Mate, all I see now in the Liverpool team is a player gets it and they cut inside. They just cut inside. Every single player just cuts inside, and guess what happens? We end up with everybody inside, and there's just nothing in the team. It's so narrow. That's why we've looked good when we've gone down to 10 men, because we got more space in the middle of the park. Like, we bought all these creative midfielders. They can't create anything if there's no one in any space. Like, all you're going to do is pass it to the guy next to you. And the biggest problem for me this season is fucking Trent, inverted. Like, he just goes into the middle of the park and messes things up. I watched him today. He was on the left wing. Like I don't understand. I don't understand the team. Like, I don't understand what we are trying to achieve, because we don't achieve anything when we put this guy in the middle of the park, because you've got all these amazing midfielders and then you've got your right back with the ball all the time. And you're like, okay, what are you going to do with it? Okay, you're going to do a Hollywood pass to no one. You're going to put the ball on Salah's shoulders 4 times. When he came on, he kept on pinging the ball to Salah. Salah couldn't do anything with it because it was at his head height. It's like, do the easy thing first. That's what we were so good at. We were so good at doing the easy thing. And the easy thing was giving it to a player that had a better chance of doing something than you. And now we don't. Now we don't. Like if you think we played well this season, then I don't know what you're watching, because we haven't played well at all this season. We had one good game against Aston Villa at home, and that's it. And the rest could have been goals galore if it wasn't for Ali. Man, this inverted.
That's another conversation.
I like it when Gomez
plays. That's another thing. That's another thing. But But the fact of the day, they still didn't sort of like get the thing at the day. It's shifting that ball faster and finding your players at the day and getting space. Shift that ball
away from home as well.
You need to do that.
We're not strong. We're not strong away from home. We play a very cautious game. So that's something that definitely needs to improve, because at Anfield we can kind of maintain that tempo. Away from home we struggle. It's the crowd as well.
Make us move the ball. The crowd make us move the ball at Anfield because they demand it.
That's a mentality thing. That's something that needs to be worked on in the team, because you mentioned about the whole Simicast thing as well. I think that's a mentality thing as well, where, yes, I do understand that in about 2-3 months, Robertson will be back. But in that meantime, he could literally help Liverpool do really well in the league in terms of performances, in terms of cup competition, because this is a time where he'll get a lot of game time as well. So it only enhances his profile as a player. And maybe going forward, he might be rotated more often, because there's games where we always know Robertson will start. But if Simicast is playing at a very high level, Klopp will have a headache. He'll be like, do you know what? He's actually done not bad for me. Maybe I'll rotate a bit more often. So I feel like everyone in this squad has to stand up. And that goes
I think he will, though. I think he will, though. I think he will with a good run. With a good run of games in it, with a good run of games, I think he will improve. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's just giving him a good run of games at the day. Even like with Kelleher and everything, that Kelleher, when he had a good run of games at the day in the cup games a lot, in that season, we won the 2 cups and everything, you notice that in the day he improved at the day as he went along. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like sometimes at the day, not every player is the same and everything. That not every player in there you can put in sort of like a situation and they after not like being regularly playing, and they're going to have this 100% really good game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes that people that take time to actually get back into it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But with sort of like with him and with like Keller, he would improve, and with Costa Shibukais at the day, he would improve as well. He will improve. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I just find it sort of like we shouldn't sort of like be down on down on players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We should be down on players in the day and sort of like criticizing one player in the day, because at the end of the day, it's like tonight in the day, nobody could cover themselves in glory tonight. Yeah.
No.
Right, yeah. You know what I mean? So, if you agree with that, you'll also agree that in the day, sort of like, you know what I mean, on the Luton game, nobody really can cover themselves in glory. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then, if you're going to criticize, if this is me, if you're going to criticize one player, I can criticize the whole 11 at the day on what they do. You know what I mean? As I said with Luis Diaz, and when he's got the ball and everything, that right, he doesn't often beat his man. You know what I mean? And he's not sort of like, he's not as potent as like when you had Mane on that side there. He's not as potent as that. I remember at the day, he was supposed to be Mane's replacement. You feel me? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be Mane's replacement, but he's not as potent as Mane. Nobody really talks about that. Salah in the day, right? Yeah. Sometimes at the day he gets marked out the game. Yeah. Because what he does in the finale, right? He's predictable because he'll put his left feet and then his foot, right?
Yeah.
And he just sort of like, he'll just cut in, you know what I mean, and take a shot. Or he tries a little Mason runs with the day on his left foot. So all you have to do in the day, just make sure in the day you play him on the left. Just play him on the left. Do you know what I mean? And you'll cut out a lot of his potency. When he does a free runner goal, he then becomes looks ordinary. But then what happens at the day, when Salah scores a goal, everybody forgets about his past sort of like games that he played. People forget about that. McAllister should not be a DM. Do you know what I mean? However, he wasn't a DM today. He wasn't a DM, was he? He was on left. He never had a good game. He never really had a good game. Yeah. Endo never had a good game. But that's another thing in the day, right? You cannot be expected in the day to play these players at the bits and bits and bits and expect them to be sort of like excellent. It don't work like that. You have to give them like some consistencies of games. And I think Endo and they should have got a consistency of games, didn't they? Because that's what you bought him for. You bought him for the DM role. You didn't buy McAllister for a DM role. You didn't buy him for that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So really and truly, we us as fans has to be stop digging out individual players at the day. The likes of your Trent, the likes of like your Chimikas, the likes of your Kelleher and then right, focusing all our attention on them when the other players that they ain't doing too well either. Not Diaz. Nunes when he come on. What effect did Nunes have when he came on?
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think a lot of players are made into scapegoats with our fan base, and that is one thing that frustrated me after the Luton game. Where, all right, I know Nunes had a lot of shots towards goal. He obviously missed a very big opportunity, but look, that's just football. That's just how it goes sometimes. So I don't agree with the whole scapegoat thing. Like with me, when I do my match reviews, I always try to analyze what I see from the game. So if I feel like this guy's had a game, I'll say it out loud. But for me, it's never going to be the same agenda unless I feel like that player is playing terribly week in, week out. But our fan base tends to just pick that one or two player and it's like, oh, we've got to get rid of him. We've got to do this. And that's, it's the fan base.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable because the thing is about the fella, you're putting all the sort of like, put everything on these individuals or individual doorstepping for that. How do you expect him to become good for you? These players can see what people are saying about them because these players that have got social media. Do you understand what I'm saying? We should be getting behind our player and say, look, you know what? Come on, Tim Chimcast at the day. You got a good run of games and everything. Get on it. Do you know what I mean? Get up to speed. That's what we should be doing. Get behind these players. Not like like we're literally slating them. Yeah. Even Trent. I mean, even look at Trent and everything that, right? Since Trent coming to the squad and everything, Trent's coming to the squad, how many times has Trent been dropped?
Oh,
how many times? Not really. He hasn't really been dropped and everything that, right? He's constantly played since what's it? Klopp brought him in a Hoffenheim game. Yeah. Right. That was his debut, the Hoffenheim game, and he scored a free kick. Since then, and everything that, right? Yeah. Right, he's played consistently. Now, large members of the fan base was complaining about the fact that Trent and he can't defend and he should be in the midfield. Now Klopp and plays him as he inverted, and kind of puts him into midfield and that, yeah, right? People are complaining, saying, "Oh, what's a right back doing in midfield?" But isn't that what you call for in the first place? You know what I mean?
The inverted right back thing, I think, splits the fan base a lot. Me personally, I feel like it should be deployed against certain teams. I don't think it should be played every game, but that's how it is. I feel like some fans, they just don't like it at all. It's like, why is a traditional right back playing in midfield? Like, he should be defending. That should be his focus. But that's kind of like an old mentality, in my opinion, because with the whole inverted thing, you're trying to use his assets to your advantage. So his playmaking ability is what separates him from all the fullbacks in the world. So I feel like in some games it works, but when you're playing high-level positions, it might be a tricky tactic. But I think we can discuss this all day. But Uncle Roz, thank you so much for coming on.
Listen, it's always a pleasure. Never a chore. Never a chore. My friend, listen, man. Listen, everybody, please like and subscribe to Ozzie's channel, man. The Football Show podcast, isn't it? Yeah.
Football Talk podcast. And likewise, please, guys, if you haven't subscribed to Uncle Rod's, where have you guys been, man? Make sure you subscribe to his channel as well. I'll try and add a link to the comments as well that links directly to his channel. Only takes a few seconds just to hit that subscribe button. So please make sure you do that today. Uncle Rod, I'm sure this won't be the last time we'll chop it up. So
it won't be, man. Listen, you're welcome. You are welcome on my show anytime, my friend. You know what I mean?
Well, my friend.
It's always a pleasure. But listen, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to Football Podcast. Make sure you like Football Talk Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to this guy. He's very good. He does some brilliant content and not biased as well. So make sure you do that. Listen, good night and God bless, my friend.
You too. Take care. I'll speak to you soon, Uncle Roz. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
And that's our wrap up for today, guys. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to K-Mac and Uncle Ross for coming on the show. Thank you to Sideline Football Show for your comments. Thank you to Ravi as well. Appreciate it as always, guys. I'm actually doing a show in the next 5 minutes, so I'll be wrapping up right now. I'm going to have Liverpool 12th man come on the show to preview Liverpool versus Brentford. So, you know, the content doesn't stop at this channel. We're going to keep it rolling. So, yeah, stick around. I'll be on in 5 minutes. So take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Goodbye.